live. Now live on YouTube, starting us up on
I'll be
Rumble.
back.
What?
I'll be right back.
All right. Hello, good morning, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander. We are joined by the good old...
King's Refuge.
Oh, there he is. All right. And we will be joined by the Golden Load. Sooner rather than later, as I say. And of course, you viewer are you. Thank you very much for coming in and watching us. Whether it's live or at some point, later on, whatever, it doesn't matter. Views of you. Thank you very much. Anyway, what is today? Today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, August 19th, 2024. And I see King just turned on his camera, so hello. Now, let's see. What do we got in today's history? Starting us off in the year 43 BC, we have Octavian, later known as Augustus, compelled the Roman Senate to elect him consul. All right. Moving on up to 126, to 1,263, so 1263, 126, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, with that. Let's get that little tab off of there. King James I of Aragon censored Hebrew writing, and here we go again. Why is he censoring Hebrew writing? What's going on? Why does this stuff, keep happening? 1274, Edward I was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey after returning from the Ninth Crusade. I had no idea there were that many crusades. I knew there were multiple, but I didn't realize there was 9. Was there a 10th, 11th, 12th? Like, how many crusades were there? Actually, let's look that up here really quick. Let's bring up our Ecosia. How many crusades were there? List of crusades. All right, let's open it up. Let's see here. Yada. Okay. First crusade, people crusade. But how many crusades have there been? Okay, later crusades. Wow, there's how many crusades were there? Holy crap! Crusades against Christians. What?
Oh yeah. That's a fact.
Oh yeah. How do you know this? By the way, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Golden Loon here.
Yeah. So you knew about crusades against Christians. How's that?
I've heard of it. I can't give you details.
I didn't even think. I mean, of course it has. That's possible.
Christianity has its history for sure.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's crusades against the Jews, crusades against the what's it called, Islamics and all that stuff. But crusades against fellow Christians, I mean, it's a holy war.
Well, they weren't fellow Christians at the time.
Well, no, it said here. Well, where did it say here? Crusades, also referred to as crusades against Christians. Including heretics and schismatics, include the following. So basically, people that they deemed as heretics. So they didn't view them as actual Christianity, but in practice, those people did practice Christianity, but they did not practice the correct one, so to speak.
Well, you're getting into detail that I'm unaware of. I've just heard the term.
Well, I know you've heard the term crusades.
Of Christians.
Crusades
against Christians. Yes.
Against Christians.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well, this is my first time, so. But man, dude, the amount of crusades is just outrageous. Northern crusades, political crusades, crusades on the Iberian Peninsula, Italian crusades.
We call them wars.
Well, yeah, but they're wars of holy thing. But you think of the crusades, you think of the First Crusade, Second Crusade. What started all of this is we have here. Edward I, in 1274, was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey after returning from the Ninth Crusade. And I was wondering, how many crusades were there? Hundreds. Holy crap, dude. That's crazy. Let's move on up here. Let me bring up my script. What do we got? 1399, King Richard II of England surrendered to his cousin Henry. Huh. As we know, all these rulers and everything, they're more or less family, so, they can you imagine just one or two families controlling the entirety of Europe and controlling things? Wait a minute.
It's not much different today.
Wait.
Anyway, Sir King, what do we got here in 1493?
1493, Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian I becomes Archduke of Austria, and the death of his father and co-ruler Frederick III.
Ah, all right.
Maximilian, that's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, well, he had to suffer the death of his dad and stuff. That's not. Well, depending on the relationship, it might be cool. I don't know, but personally, to me, it would not be at all. Oh. What do we got here in 1504?
1504, Battle of Knockdoe, bloodiest battle of medieval Ireland, fought in Galway between two Anglo-Irish lords, Gearoid Fitzgerald's Lord Deputy defeats Ulick Finn Burke.
Huh. One of the bloodiest battles. 1561 here, Mary, Queen of Scots, arrived in Leith, Scotland, to assume the throne after having spent 13 years in France. Huh. And there is a movie about this monarch and all that stuff. I try to get into it. It's a little boring, but it's a historical piece. It's about her life and everything. Mary, Queen of Scots versus I think. You know what? Let's see if it says here her rival. Elizabeth I. She was. They were sisters, or cousins, or something. They were family. But Elizabeth I viewed Mary as a rival, and did all sorts of nasty things to her. I'm pretty sure Mary didn't just sit there and take it and such. But I don't know much about this. As I don't really know much about many details in history. I'm more of a generalized historian.
Yeah.
But but eventually Elizabeth had Mary executed. So
Yeah.
That's awful.
You don't give yourself enough credit, though, as far as a historian. And you are specific when it comes to World War II.
Well, that's what got me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll know much more detail in that than you will in other parts of history.
Yeah. 1587, Sigismund III became King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania. A lot of people becoming kings and stuff today. Is it King Day? Yo, King.
King Day.
No, seriously.
King, what do you have to say about that?
No, I mean,
When did you become a king?
43 BC, we had Octavian, later known as Augustus, compelled the Roman Senate to elect him consul. Okay, so we have that. King Edward I was crowned King of England. We went on a whole, crusade thing. Holy Roman Emperor, became Archduke of Austria, as King wrote, read here. And then now, then we also have, that was a battle. And then we have this guy becoming King of Poland. What is going on? We have so many, it's King Day or something, I don't know.
King for a Day.
Yeah.
There used to be a TV show called Queen for a Day.
Huh. And then now there's one called King of Queens.
It was sick. There'd be 3 women on there.
Oh.
And who had the most pathetic life story.
Oh.
And then they'd vote on who's the most pathetic, and they'd be Queen for a Day.
Oh, that's sad.
That's sick.
Taking advantage of people and their downtroddenness. That is sick. Let's move on up to 1600. What do we got here?
1600, Dutch ship Liefeld reaches Japan, barely making it across the Pacific with 25 crew, including English navigator William Adams. Its cannon later play important role in Battle of Sagahara.
So that's interesting. It barely made it there, and then it was instrumental in the battle. Huh. Now I wonder if the cannon was on the ship, or if they moved it somewhere, to an inland defensive position. I don't know.
Don't know.
Huh.
Doesn't say.
Yeah. And here we go, another bloody battle.
1691, Battle of Slankamen, the bloodiest battle of the century. Austrian Habsburg forces defeats Ottoman army, killing Grand Vizier Kopru Fazil Mustafa Pasha.
Grand Vizier. What's his face? Jafar was a Grand Vizier in Aladdin. You know, that was his title politically.
I would imagine that would be pretty far to the end of the Ottoman Empire.
No, the Ottoman Empire ended after World War One.
It went that far.
They
Wow.
fought in World War One. Remember?
Trying to.
Well, like they were part of the Central Powers and all that stuff. You know, with Germany, Austria, and all that stuff
Okay.
and whatnot. No, like Lawrence of Arabia. That's who he fought down in the desert.
Okay.
And all that stuff, the Ottoman Turks and all that stuff. Well, maybe not the Ottoman Turks, but like the Ottomans, the Ottoman Empire.
So it was.
And after World War One, they got split up, and the remaining area that was, them, is now Turkey.
So in 1691, they were pretty substantial.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, and they'd be around for quite a while. Before they became the Ottomans, they were known as the Byzantinians.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that whole area. There's Constantinople, Istanbul.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. But what's her face? Mother Teresa. She was born in the Ottoman Empire in 1904.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're way.
Yeah, they were around for a while.
You think of them as
Of empires,
further back in history.
Yeah, like you think of empires, you think of ancient stuff, but I mean, like, like things like the American Empire and the British Empire and all that stuff, like, are more recent stuff. But like, the Ottoman Empire got dissolved in 1918, 1919. Barely over 100 years ago.
Over 100 years.
Barely over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's move on up. 1692.
1692, Battle of 1692. 5 more people hanged for witchcraft, 19 in all, in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Salem.
Yep.
No one for hanging witchcraft.
Oh, not just hanging, but like, they probably ducked. Like, you know what ducking is, right?
No.
They strap you to a chair and they duck you into the water.
I've seen pictures.
And if you survive, you're a witch. If you die, you're innocent. Gee.
Great. So if you survive, you are a witch.
Yes.
So then they're gonna burn you at the stake,
They
hang you, or
they
whatever.
they just want you dead.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they just want you dead.
Oh, he was innocent.
Oh, whoopsie doodles are bad.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Or
As,
her.
well, I don't think there were any really men
No,
accused
I
of
don't think so.
witchcraft.
I don't
But
think
they're witches, magic users and everything. The wizards are the men. Witches, are the women. But then there's sorcerers, sorceresses. Now, this may be wrong, but for the longest time, I always thought the male counterpart to a witch is a warlock.
Good point. And it's not?
Well, that's what I believe it is, but it might not be, because I remember as a kid, like, I was just like, like you think of witches, you think of the like green women, green skin, pointy nose, pointy hat, riding a broom, but you never see a male witch. What's a male witch? And some guy, I don't know who it was. I was
Warlock
just
makes sense.
so some guy who was just there. It's like, oh, a male witch is a warlock, and from then on. And then things like WoW came out, and Warlock is a class, and there could be female Warlocks, and I'm just like, oh, so you're a witch. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway, moving on up to 1745, we have the Jacobite Rising, the Jacobite Rising of 1745, in which Bonnie Prince Charlie raised his standard at Glenfinnan, Scotland, igniting the Second Jacobite Rebellion. So, like, he was what would be called a pretender to the throne. He claimed to have, heir, like he was an heir or something. Like, he claimed to have, I don't know the correct terminology, but association with the royal family. They said no, and then that started an entire, like, civil war thing, the Jacobite Rising. And this was the second Jacobite rebellion. So there was already a first one before. So, 1798, St. Isaac's Cathedral was founded in St. Petersburg, Russia. I want to look this up here. St. Isaac's Cathedral, St. Petersburg, Russia. Open up Ecosia, get rid of these guys. Alright. St. Isaac's Cathedral. Let's look at this. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can tell that's Russian. It has, the rounded, like, I don't know. Russia has those rounded things. I mean, of course, St. Peter's, not St. Peter's, what's,
yeah.
yeah.
I can't think of it, but yeah, I know.
St. Basil, I want to say, or, no. Hold on, now it's bothering me. Hold on a second. Russian cathedral. Let's see. It is St. Basil. Well, St. Basil is one, but that's not the
what I was thinking of.
This is the one we're thinking of. It is St. Basil.
Okay.
I was right.
How about that?
Huh. I was accidentally right.
Didn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, good poll.
So Saint,
Excellent poll.
or I guess the British, they call it St. Basil. You know? So, I don't know. But yeah, St. Basil's Cathedral. But this is this is a different one. Like, but still, like, it has, you know, the rounded, like, it just looks Russian. There's something about it. It just looks Russian. You know, like, because there's obviously, like, you know, rounded and dome stuff and all over Europe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about this. It just looks Russian. You know.
Could be the design of the domes. I don't know.
You know, the domes, maybe, like, you know, like the other architecture. It of course has, you know, the traditional
I look at
Greek.
that, and if you just showed me that picture, I wouldn't say, "Oh, that's Russian." I wouldn't get that out of it.
I
Like
would.
the other ones, I would. Basil or Basil or whatever.
Yeah, well,
it's
of
called.
course, yeah,
That's
those have
so well known.
or indistinguish. Not what's the word?
Undistinguishable.
Well,
Indistinguishable.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that.
no. It's. There's a word.
Unique to Russia.
Yeah. It's very Russian. Like it's Russian architecture. Anyway, let's move on up here. What do we got in 1772?
King Gustav III seizes effective control of Swedish government and restores full power of monarchy, which had been subordinate to Parliament since 1720.
Ah, so he's taking the power back to the monarchy. It's going the wrong way. Oh, this next one, it's not in the. Huh. Well, I'm gonna put this in the script right now. It was 1782 from the primary source. If you don't have it up, I'll read it.
Battle of Blue Licks, 50 loyalists and 300 indigenous warriors ambushed about 182 Kentucky militiamen, including Daniel Boone in Kentucky County, Virginia, in one of the last battles of American Revolutionary War.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, not to be confused with David Bowie, but, like, you know, Boone, he was, like, another really good, you know, frontiersman.
He died down in
The Alamo.
Alamo, yeah.
Yeah, with, you know,
A bunch of
you know, not David Bowie,
Daniel
Daniel Bowie or
Boone and David Bowie. No. Bowie.
The Bowie knife.
Bowie knife.
Yeah, but it's not David Bowie. But then, you know, Davy Crockett. You know,
Davy
that's
Crockett.
yeah, like, you know, a lot of, you know, Wild West frontiersmen. You know, like our folktale heroes and whatnot. Like 3 of them right there we named off died at the Alamo.
I think it was David Bowie.
David Bowie? Hold on a second. But David Bowie is the name of a musician, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, great one. Oh, well, he was. The guy was so talented, unbelievable. Bowie knife.
Bowie knife, namesake. Bowie knife. Created by Resin Bowie. Okay, well that's okay, but it got its name from James Bowie. James Bowie? No. Hold on a second. Bowie Alamo. Let's just see this. James Bowie.
James Bowie? Okay.
James Bowie.
Okay.
Huh.
I
Okay.
guess that's it, James Bowie.
All right then.
And then I've just superseded the rock star into it.
Yeah.
To make it sound common.
Yeah. 1791, Benjamin Banneker sent a copy of his almanac and wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson criticizing his pro-slavery stance and requesting justice for African Americans using language from the Declaration of Independence. I think this is a complete lie. I think this has been written in to make it seem like, you know, ever since this time, there is a whole bunch of, you know, like anti-slavery sentiment. Like the world back then was not like it is today. Like, you know, we're looking back and superimposing our beliefs back then. I think that this entire article is completely fictitious because, you know, yeah, there are people standing up for rights, but people wouldn't be doing things like this, would they? Back in those times.
That's pretty early on to be doing that.
Like and our
Not
source
that it couldn't have been done, but that's.
Yeah, but especially with like the countless times we've seen them rewrite things before our very eyes.
I mean,
like
the country was what, 30 years old? Less than 30 years old.
1791, no, like not even 10.
1776.
Well, the idea of splitting
more
off.
Like 10 years old by the time we actually became independent.
Well,
because claiming independence and becoming independent was way different.
Well, yeah, we became independent, and then it took another like 10 years or so of litigation and all that stuff to figure out if we want, we as you've educated me, we very close, almost just became a bunch of independent colonies again, just self-governing states and everything.
To become
federalized.
13 separate colonies again.
Yeah, but so like by
federal government getting too powerful.
So I'd say by 1791, it's only been a handful of years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say 5 yet that we've been the United States of America officially.
Done. Well, how long did the war take with England?
Well,
our declarations. I really don't know.
Well, we just went over this. 1782, one of the last battles of the American Revolution.
Oh, there you go.
So 1782, 1791.
76 to 82 is 6 years.
Yes.
Okay, so here you got 82 to 91. And then we had to solidify everything, so maybe 7-8 years.
Well, we solidified them recently because there were several times because like I'm sorry for getting off track, viewers, but like there is things out there. George Washington is the first president of the United States of America, but he's not the first president of the idea of us being independent. There were like 2 or 3, 4 some odd people who were presidents of an idea before we decided to disband that and try something else. During the whole time that we were still trying to figure things out, we tried this, we tried that, we appointed this guy, we appointed that guy. But then what stuck was United States of America, as we still are today. And that's why we know George Washington. But there were like a good 2, 3, 4 some odd people before him.
The colonies were fiercely independent.
Yes.
They only came together for war.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have had a general president something.
Well, no, I'm talking about afterwards. Like
after we declared.
After the war was done.
Okay.
After the war was done and we were independent, we still got to figure out, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So then we tried this, that didn't work. Then we tried that didn't work. We tried a handful of things, and each time that had its own president, that had its own cabinet, it had its own government. It didn't work. A couple years later, we tried something else, and then so between 1782 to 1791, within like an 8 to 10 year period, we were trying all these. So you're the one who brought this information to me and got me to started down this path of thinking to begin with. But it wasn't until like about, I'd say 5 to 10 years after all the fighting was done, Britain was gone. Not just we declared independence, but the war was over.
Right.
5 to 10 years before we even became the United States of America as a solidified idea.
Well, our 1776 declaring war started the war.
Started the war, but after the war was done, we had to figure out, okay, now the war is done,
how do we make this work?
Now what do we do?
Or do we make it work at
like,
all?
do we go back to becoming independent independent city-states, or do we federalize, and now we have an umbrella, but, states still have the majority of the power. The federal government is just a system of checks and balances to make sure that we're all on the same page,
and the design was the federal government is only there to protect us with an
exactly.
Umbrella.
Yes.
And boy, have we gotten away from that.
Oof. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, 1796, Spain and France signed an anti-British alliance. All right. Mm-hmm. And I skipped over one here. 1793, yellow fever epidemic in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Then the U.S. Capitol, because the capital was New York, then it became Philadelphia. Then it went back to New York, I think, or maybe it was Philadelphia, New York. It was one of them twice.
Oh, okay.
And then it was Washington D.C.
Yeah.
So
carved out on its own.
Yep. So Philadelphia, that was the U.S. capital at the time. This is the first fatality of the yellow fever epidemic.
Oh.
This lasted until November, so until like in the next, August, September, November, killing around 5,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a bunch for the population rate.
Oh, definitely, yeah. 1796, we got that one. Sir King, 1812.
1812, U.S. warship Constitution defeats British warship Courier.
All right, the Constitution. Woo! That was, of course, during the War of 1812. You know, one of the times the British were trying to take us back.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Although they did burn down our capital, so there is that.
Yeah.
What else?
1816, Java returns to Dutch rule after being controlled by the British for 5 years.
Yeah, the British and the Netherlands, you know, were really, like, you know, exchanging things for quite a while. Like, of course, you know, New Amsterdam was founded by the Dutch, and then later it got taken by the British due to acts of war, you know, in Europe and all that stuff, and they just came and took it. Then the Dutch got it back, then Britain got it back, and it's still New York. Now it's ours, you know. But yeah, here we go, Java. So, yeah. One decade later, what do we have?
In 1826, Canada chartered to colonize Upper Canada, Ontario.
Okay.
Huh. So a company, like, you know.
Canada Code.
That's how things more or less always have worked and always will. Like, it's really not. It's governments
So they
and
were chartered to colonize that.
colonize.
Colonize that area.
Well, they probably went in as a company to gather resources, and you know, very much like the mining towns that popped up, you know, in the States and everything. They did it as a company. Yeah, well, yeah, and you know, they formed entire towns and everything, like Colwood from October Sky, the story of Homer Hickam. Hey, what's up, Con Air? How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. What do we got here in 1839?
1839, Louis Daguerreo's daguerreotype photographic process with complete working instructions is published free to the world in Paris as a gift to the world from French government.
All right, so the daguerreotype photograph. Let's look that up here really quick. Where's my internet? There we go. St. Isaac's daguerreograph. So basically, you know, like any old photograph, like, you know, you've seen these box cameras. This is the daguerreotype camera, so of course it produces a daguerreotype photograph. And he gave it away for free. This technology, revolutionary, you know?
Yeah.
Like you think about, like wasn't the polio vaccine, you know, like just given away for free, you know, by whoever discovered it, like or something like that.
I don't know.
Like there's been like a handful of, you know, like world-changing, life-altering medical advancements that people made a point not to profitize off of.
I just remember going and getting a polio vaccine.
Yeah.
And you had to get a number of them, you know, over a period of time. I think the last one they got it down to a sugar cube.
Huh. Well, let's see here. Polio vaccine. It's just saying, just giving us a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay, well, like, maybe I'm wrong with polio specifically. I'm not sure, but we got to keep going. 1848 here. The New York Herald is the first major Eastern newspaper to report the discovery of gold in California. California Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
Yes. 1887, Dmitry Mendeleev made a solo ascent by balloon to an altitude of 11,500 feet, or 3.5 kilometers, above Klin in Russia to observe an eclipse. That's pretty cool, going up in a balloon to observe an eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1891, William Huggins described astronomical application of spectrum. So, what does that even mean? Astronomical application of spectrum? Well, let's just... I don't want to look up William Huggins. What is this? Astronomical spectroscopy is a study of astronomy using the techniques of spectroscopy to measure the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, including visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, infrared, and radio waves that radiate from stars and other celestial objects. A stellar spectrum can reveal many properties of stars, such as their chemical composition, temperature, density, mass, distance, and luminosity. Spectroscopy can show the velocity of motion towards or away from the observer by measuring the Doppler shift. Spectroscopy is also used to study the physical properties of many other types of celestial objects, such as planets, nebulae, galaxies, and active galactic nuclei. So using, essentially, light and radio waves, you know, to figure out anything you really want to know about bodies in space. mostly
I
stars.
guess so. It's way over my head.
Huh.
Above my pay grade.
Well, literally above your head, like it's out there in space
Yeah.
orbiting. You know.
Yeah.
No. Or what is up? What is down? Is it below your head? Like like where is it? There is no direction in space. It's all is one. 1895. What do we got, good Sir King? Your mic's off.
1895, American frontier murderer and outlaw John Wesley Hardin is shot and killed by John Selman Sr. in a saloon in El Paso, Texas.
Ooh. Huh? All right. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Huh. Now this one raised an eyebrow here.
1897, first electric taxis driven in London.
What? 1897 electric taxis.
How about that?
But that's before the invention of the automobile, really. I mean, the diesel was just getting started. I don't think gasoline was really, invented. The internal combustion engine.
Well,
Trains were fairly new.
It'd be more of a buggy.
It's weird.
Yeah. You know what? Let me look up the surface level scratch of this
And
here.
using an electric engine, the combustible, like you say, was so new or whatever.
Oh, look at that.
Electric engines, they would have had more than a combustible engine.
We got to, because this reminds me, one of the videos we were watching last night, King. You know those compilation videos and all that stuff that we see. One of the videos in the video there was going on about like all this, seemingly new technology we had hundreds of years ago, even before the Industrial Revolution, all that stuff. There's pictures in the 1850s of police and just civilians and such on motorized scooters, electric scooters, and all that stuff. And then then it goes away for like a couple generations, and then it comes back and everything, and everybody's none the wiser. People forget about these things, and then
Well, what happens is technology advances, so you get the combustible engine, which is much more efficient, faster, and everything else. So then that becomes the mode to go by, and you forget about the electric engine as far as transportation goes.
I guess so, yeah.
And then you go back and someone takes a revisit of it, and then technology catches up for that.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Thank you. I forgot to move the mic closer here. But Sir King, take us into the next century.
1900, start of the first and only Olympic cricket match in Paris. Thank God. GB beats France by... Great Britain beats France by 158 runs.
Let's bring it back in 2028 out here in LA for the Loon. Cricket in the Olympics.
Cricket.
No!
No, keep that in. Out of this country.
Out of everything. I mean, as I like to say, if you read something verbatim and it's English and, you understood the words, but if you put them together, then you suddenly feel like you've had some kind of, stroke or brain issue. Don't worry, you're not having a medical emergency.
Cricket.
It's just cricket. It'll
Only
pass.
if we get Blurn's ball, too.
Blurn!
Blurn!
I gotta play that clip again just for the Loon, just to gauge his reaction. So, Blurn's ball. So, let's see. Where's the one? Is this it here? No. This one. Hold on a second. You've heard of Futurama, right?
Yeah.
Matt Groening, the same guy who made Simpsons and all that stuff. So let me play this for you.
Hey, I'm starting to get the hang of this game. The blurns are loaded, the count's 3 blurns and 2 anti-blurns, and the infield blurn rule is in effect, right?
Except for the word blurn, that was complete gibberish.
Multi-ball! Multi-ball! Blurn!
All right, yes!
What? I do not understand what just happened.
Nor do I want to.
Moving on up, what do we got? Where'd my script go? Here it is. 1903, the Philadelphia Phillies suffered a record 9th straight postponed game.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
A lot of rain.
He's just not going to play, guys. 6 years later, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the automobile race Indianapolis 500, opened in Speedway, Indiana. So happy birthday, Indy 500.
Yeah.
What do we got in 1911?
The Brickyard.
Yeah.
1911, New York Giant Christy Mathewson loses after beating Reds 22 straight games.
It's interesting. Sorry, I'm going back to what the loon here said about the Brickyard. Indy 500 layers pavement. There's a picture out there. Oh yeah, here they took a core sample, like right here. 108 years of paving at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is the pavement layers right here. So here's the bricks at the bottom.
Yeah,
As you said, it's
yeah.
the old brickyard because it was the road
On
was
bricks.
made of bricks.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. But then you have more and more pavement, and you see you have bricks, and then you see the layers. So you have like a thin layer of concrete, and then as technology and regulations and all that stuff formed everything, they put another layer. It's thicker. It has more stuff and everything. And look at this one layer. Look how thick that is.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's multiple layers. But I don't. But it's just,
Over the years, they probably added on top of it with the same stuff.
Well, it shows here the actual, the core sample. So let me scroll down. Here we go. 1909, a 2-inch layer of sand placed on top of the existing damaged surface. And then we have 3.2 million street paving bricks laid. 3.2 million street paving bricks.
Oh,
Jeez, man. And then we have a balance of brick on the main street, and then entire 2.5 mile oval resurfaced. Another resurfacing in 1988, 95, resurfaced, 2002.
See, those are different layers.
Yeah, so they are. So 1909, another 1909, 61, 76, 88, 95, 02, and 04. You know?
Oh, they haven't done it in 20 years?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. But this is from the core, at least.
Yeah.
They probably have since
Well, that's
then.
true. That's when they took the core.
They took this picture, and then they were labeling all the different layers.
The core stops.
But that's that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry to get off, but you said the Brickyard, and all of that popped in my head, and I'm like, I gotta show all of this. So, anyway, what else do we got here? 1911. Oh yeah, you got that one. So 1913.
1913, Frenchman Adolphe Celestin Pigaud made first parachute jump in Europe.
Huh. So I think that was the guy who jumped off of the Eiffel Tower to prove his invention, the parachute. But it didn't fully unfold, and he jumped too low, to get a full catch.
That doesn't sound good.
And I think he broke his legs. He survived, but he broke his legs. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we got?
1914, German army executes 150 Belgians by firing squad.
Whoa. That's World War One right
Yeah.
there. Yikes. You got another 14.
Ugh, this guy again. 1914, the message to the Senate, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson urges the American people to be neutral in fact as well as name.
Yep. 1915, the British liner SS Arabic, sunk by German submarine without warning, left Liverpool for New York, killing 44. This creates a diplomatic incident. So this is not when it got hit, but this is when it got sunk.
Yeah.
No, not sunk. This is when it left.
Left, yeah.
Yeah. So it's to be hit and then
Yeah.
sunk. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was worded very timely weird. But yeah, so and of course, yeah, it creates an incident and all that
Sure.
stuff. 1915 as well. Rationing laws went into effect in the Netherlands. Of course, the war.
Yeah.
And we also have the Battle of Van begins. What, the Battle of the Van by the river or something? Like what in the name of Chris Farley?
Tennis shoes?
Yeah. Yeah. 1917, Sunday benefit baseball game at New York City's Polo Grounds resulted in John McGraw and Christy Mathewson's arrest for violating blue laws. Okay. I don't know what blue laws are. And
Have something to do with Sunday.
huh.
On Sunday or something.
Oh. All right. 1918, Irving Berlin's military musical review, Yip Yip Yap Hank, Opened at the Century Theater, later transferring to the Lexington and New York Theater. New York City. New York Theater. Well, it is a New York Theater. Yip Yip Yap Hank. What a name. What do we got in 1919? In the year 1919.
1919, after nearly 100 years of British control, Afghanistan declares itself independent.
Huh. Alright. I'm all for independence.
Yeah.
Not really a supporter of Afghanistan, but hey, cool, they're independent. Nice.
Yeah.
So,
And look what you did with it.
yeah, well.
Yeah. 1921, Detroit Tigers. Ty Cobb is the fourth to get 3,000 hits against Boston Red Sox, the youngest ever.
What city was it again?
Boston.
Thank you. You gotta go Boston. You know, you gotta get the coffee in there.
What are you a Southie?
You gotta go to the park. You know.
Yeah.
There you
1931.
Lefty Grove wins a L record for the 16th consecutive game.
All right, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Now we have here, and this is the actual thumbnail of today's episode right here. Look at that. Look at how silly that looks.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
But we have 1934. The first All-American Soapbox Derby was held in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, look at that.
Soapboxes, yeah.
Now
so-
that photo makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is actually from the very first, because I look up the actual full
Yeah.
article and I try
Yeah.
to find a fitting image and stuff. Finding thumbnails is hard. Oh. 1936, the trial against Leziv Kamenshov and Grigory Zonojev because of Trotskyism opened in Moscow. Yeah, I mean, Stalin must have taken power, but yeah, he took power in like what 32 or something. It wasn't like
I'm not
Lenin
sure.
didn't have power for that long. Like he died fairly early on.
I'm not sure the dates.
Yeah. 1939, 37.6 centimeters of rainfall at Tuckerton, New Jersey, state record. That's a lot of rain, I presume. Like 37.
That being a 24-hour period or what?
Well, it has to be like
yeah, I would imagine.
the centimeters, 2 inches. Let's see here. It is 14.8 inches.
Over a foot.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty substantial for a day. Rain.
Oh, yeah.
So, what else do we got here? 41.
41. Baseball umpire Jocko Conland ejects Pirate manager Frankie Frisch for coming out on the field holding an umbrella to get a rain out.
Man, what a cheeky little way to try to.
Oh,
You walk
was it
out with
really
an umbrella.
raining?
Oh, it's too rainy for me to come out. We got to rain out the game. I'm losing. Oh, boo-hoo.
I think that's brilliant.
It's so cheeky. I mean, I kind of like whenever we talk about sports, you know, and brilliant and all that stuff. Like I remember this one story that somebody told me. Like, you know, once again talking about NASCAR and all that stuff. This one guy who basically is the reason why the rule book is the way it is. He always found certain ways to go under the radar, little loopholes and everything. So way back in the day, you know, there were of course regulations and all that
Right.
stuff.
Oh, NASCAR?
Yeah. There's this one specific example. You were limited to the size of the tank.
Yeah.
So you can only have so much fuel, but you were not limited to the size of your fuel line. So what he did was he just made a long ass fuel line, and he
Get
had
more
more fuel. You know, less pit stops. Like, so he did like little tongue in cheek
Well, you got to remember
Things
NASCAR
like that.
racing, where it comes from.
Yeah.
Its origins.
Yeah.
So yeah, bending the rules is just life.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. You're talking about its base origins.
Yeah.
The rum runners and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah. Well, that got into the North American Stock Car Association, but before it was all about who can soup up the best, who can. So like it did start off one way, it went to another, and then they came back to the original themes. So anyway, what else do we have here? Another 1941.
Romania annexes the Transnistria territory from the Soviet Union after Operation Barbarossa.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So after Germany invaded and everything, Romania just came in and said, "Mine," like snatch nom.
Yeah.
You know,
Sounds like it.
that's hilarious. 42.
1942, World War II. Over 4,000 Canadians and British soldiers killed, wounded, or captured, raiding deep France.
Yep. Go Canada, man.
Yeah.
1944, the last Japanese troops were driven out of India. Wow, they reached all the way into India. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
They were serious. Also, Nazis gave parts of Paris to the resistance, so, things are turning. That's good.
Yep.
Paris police strike out against the Nazi occupiers, so there's that too. 1947, J. Ahrens and D. Van Dorpen synthesized vitamin A. Synthesized vitamin A.
Yeah, synthetic.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I get, well, because there has to be a line, because how far away from nature, do we go? Because if we're completely relying on synthetics and all that stuff, what happens if the base supply, nature, we cannot exist without nature. Everything we have that even allows us to be without nature is of nature.
Right.
So, what happens if,
But nature isn't going to produce enough on its own to support the massive human race we have.
well,
So we figure out how to make it ourselves.
but see, right
Synthetics, so that's what it is all
right
about.
there, our technology is advancing us beyond the capabilities of nature, and then that is going to rubber band on us really hard.
Could.
It will. It's inevitable.
Right now, it's allowing the species to grow.
For now. So,
Oh, for now. It's always
Yeah.
for now.
yeah. What do we got here in 50?
1950, ABC begins Saturday morning kid shows, Animal Clinic and Acrobat Ranch.
Do you recognize any of those? Animal Clinic, Acrobat
no.
Ranch.
But I do remember the big, what is it, bullseye or whatever they have on there when the thing's off. And Saturday we'd be playing games or something. I'd be at my neighbor's house and we'd be playing, and they'd have the TV on with that bull. We're just waiting for the TV to come on,
Oh, you're talking about the Native American
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
The
Well, each
off-air?
one had their own.
Yeah.
But that was the off-air signal.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it really quick. Where'd my internet? There it is. Off-air signal. Off-air. Oh yeah, they're not gonna show it right off the
Well,
head.
they're showing.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
the most
something.
common one.
There's the Native American right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But usually it's that picture, it's the whole thing, with a couple of these, or something. Let's see, Native American. Wow, they're just not going to show it.
That's the one I remember. That's the one I remember right there. Is
I
that
always thought it was a bigger emblem. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, what else do we got?
one. Today you'd have to take the Native American off, right?
Yeah. Dumb.
I don't know why you would, but somehow.
Well, they did it to Land
you need
O'Lakes.
Exactly
And,
right. Still pisses me off.
Before I get on that rant, what do we have in 1951?
There you go. Thank you.
Shut me up.
Bill Veeck, St. Louis Brown sends Eddie Goodell a 3'7" little person to pitch hit. He walked on 4 pitches.
3-7.
3'7".
They had him there just so they could walk him.
That's. I don't want to say hilarious, to seem demeaning towards little people.
Well,
but
you're making it kind of circish.
Yeah. But hey, got the job done, did it not?
They got him on base.
Yeah. And, you got to go out on the field. How many little people can say,
Well,
stuff
he
like
wasn't there
that?
long because they come in with a pinch runner.
Oh.
Those little legs aren't going to get him anywhere.
Hey, he got on the field.
Yeah, he got up to bat.
And before I start on the whole rant about Snow White and the 7 magical creatures, what happened in 53?
1953, democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, is overthrown in a coup orchestrated by the United Kingdom under the name Operation Beat, and the United States under the name Jack's Project.
Yeah, TPA Jack's project. I'm not sure, but no, before, you don't remember the whole debacle of recent Disney,
the new one.
where they
Can't say doors.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's that like there's a perfect because there is an entire industry of little people in Hollywood and all that stuff. Like,
Sure.
They do get into movies and all that stuff.
Sure.
Every now and then. Now, instead of casting the little people in the guise of, oh, we want to be tolerant and we don't want to seem like we're mocking little people and we're making any. They decided not to cast a whole bunch of little people to make the Seven Dwarves. They casted full-sized human beings, like I guess average size, whatever, non-little people.
Okay.
And then of all colors and shapes and sizes, and they have them be the magical creatures.
Oh, okay.
So instead of the Seven Dwarves, we have the aspect of magic, and then the goddess of nature, and then this. So they're magical creatures. So and once again in the vein of looking like they're being tolerant. Now they're denying little people of what little work they already have. Flat out.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, that's so integral to have small people. You're making a different movie, as far as I'm concerned.
It is
right
completely.
there.
And see, on top of that, Snow White.
Yeah.
Then they have her played by. I don't want to go down this whole path, but they have her played by, some Indian or something.
Which
That's
is
not
fine.
Snow
That's called
White.
acting. It's called acting.
But it's not Snow White.
But a good actor can take the part and make it work. So I don't have problems with that. But without some sort of little people in there, come on, you kind of change the whole thing.
Move
on, quickly,
yeah,
move on.
1955. What do we got here? King.
Which one?
32.4.
32.4 centimeters precipitation at Burlington, Connecticut. World record.
State record.
State record.
Now that's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Precipitation, and that's just another word for rainfall, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's weird. Like we've had so many different records, of like rainfall.
Today.
This is the first time. Well, not just today, but over,
Today we've had a couple.
We've had a couple, but we have a couple every other show or something.
Okay.
But this is the first time I've really seen precipitation used instead of like rainfall or whatever.
Oh.
Usually they always say rainfall.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of precipitation, 1955 as well, Hurricane Diane killed 200 people, became the first billion-dollar damaging storm in northeast U.S.
Ooh.
So, we also have U.S. raised import duty on bicycles by 50%. Wow.
Ooh.
Huh.
I'll tell you what, Schwinn was behind that.
Probably. In 1955 as well, Winds Radio in New York City announced it will not play copy white cover versions of R&B records. DJs play Fats Domino's Ain't That a Shame, not Pat Boone's. So they're playing it from the actual black artists, not from the white people. So, right? That's what it sounds like?
I would say Pat Boone was probably before Fats Domino,
Huh.
as far as recording. Would be my guess.
Well, it sounded it will not play copy white covers. So they're
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like in that particular case, because Pat Boone was first, but they recorded a lot of things. So if Fats did that, they wouldn't play Pat Boone's version.
But this also seems like yet more propaganda to make it seem like, I mean, like all the sentiments going around in today's world and everything. Like this is straight up saying that it's intentionally not playing certain records by white people, preferring the ones over black.
Well, they're saying a white copy, a version of the, done by a white man.
Yeah.
Which there lies the problem. If you don't want to do different versions of a song, you just do the original one thing. If you're taking color into account, you're dead wrong.
That's why I'm saying this sounds like modern day propaganda. They're going in and putting modern day energy into a historical thing.
So you're saying they may have made it up?
Well, no, maybe not made it up, but they're.
I mean, Pat Boone and Fat Domino obviously made the cut.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, there's the way that this is written is spinning it with a certain sentiment against a certain people.
Okay.
So, against a certain people, So, anyway, what else do we got here? 1957, New York Giants Board of Directors voted 8-1 to move their baseball franchise to San Francisco in 1958.
Oh, yeah. And the Dodgers came here.
Yep. 1958, the NAACP Youth Council began sit-in at whites-only lunch counter at Katz Drug Store in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You know, you'd think, especially because in today's world you can't go around and use the term colored person. But why are they still called the NAACP, the National American Association of Colored People? If that is a no term, then why are they still using it?
Well, they're only using the letters, and it's established
but the letters,
as a corporation.
Yeah, but you know, if it's such a big deal that, you know, certain people,
They should have to voluntarily do it. You can't make them change their letters.
But what I'm saying is you can't
I know
sit
what you're
there and say, oh, it's okay for us to use it, but you can't use it because you're a different color. You know?
So it's a no-no to say colored people?
Oh, yeah. You can't go around and say, oh, look, it's a colored person. That's a major no-no. Major
Well,
no-no.
Would you like to someone, oh, he's a lack of color person?
Well, I mean, I don't care.
Actually, we
Like-
should be saying not a colored person, an all-colored person.
Yeah.
Or a white person be a lack of colored person.
And speaking on that topic, like, that reminds me of like this whole stand-up bit where someone's like, you know, white people are the most colored people of them all because, you know, if we run out of air, we turn blue. If we get mad, we turn red. You know, like if we're envious, we turn green. You know, that one's obviously a joke, but we do
Tomato
change
Man
shades.
was a redskin, yeah. Don't remember the Tomato Man?
Of
from
course, I
Vegas?
remember the Tomato Man. He almost killed me. Anyway, what do we got here in 1959, Sir King?
1959. Honolulu, Hawaii seeks a franchise in baseball's new Continental League.
There we go.
Yeah.
Does Hawaii have a baseball team? I'm not sure.
Professional baseball team?
Any-
No, not a major league team. No.
Okay. Huh.
I'm sure they have a minor league team. I'm not sure at all, but they probably do.
Well, look at that. 1960s. Perfect.
1960, American CIA pilot Francis Gary Powers, convicted of spying on USSR U-2 incident, sentenced to 3 years in prison plus 7 in a labor camp. He served 17 months before being exchanged for a captured Soviet KGB spy.
Huh. All right, we were talking about, he was the one who got shot down yesterday, right?
Yes.
Or his trial began.
Yeah, Gary Powell.
Yeah, so his trial began yesterday, and then today he was convicted. Or to date. So. Ooh.
I'll be back.
All right. Also in 1960, Soviet Sputnik 5 carried 2 dogs, 2 rats, 40 mice, 1 rabbit, and fruit flies into space.
Fruit flies?
The first animals to return alive from orbit.
Remember when they sent a dog up?
Yeah,
Must have been then.
Well, no. They sent that one dog up. That was the first animal ever in space, and it did not make it. It burnt up on the re-entry.
Oh, is that what happened?
Well, I don't think it survived until it burnt up. I'm not sure if they had oxygen tanks in there. They had no intention of it coming back alive. Like, you know, it was all about sending something up there, getting something up there, but they had not figured out how to get it back. So they sent that dog, and then they sent, you know, chimpanzees and various other things. We did the same thing. You know,
so this is actually bringing it back down to Earth.
this is like the. I'm not sure if this. Oh yeah, this was. It says first animals to return alive from orbit.
Okay.
So, yeah. We also have the first commercial atomic energy reactor owned by the Yankee Atomic Electric Company achieved a self-sustaining nuclear reaction in Roe, Deerfield River, Massachusetts. Nuclear power.
I remember my dad talking about nuclear power was going to be the savior to the world because it was going to be free energy for all. Of course, they didn't realize the toxicity of it. He didn't, you know.
Yeah.
He should have as a chemist, but
Yeah.
chemical engineer.
Well, not necessarily.
But,
you know, he's not into radiation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But
like,
I remember him saying that. I'm going, wow, you know, because he made such a big deal out of it.
Yeah. 1962, Homer Blancos played finest round of golf, shooting a 55. What? That's an unheard of score. Like, a 55?
Well,
In
it's
18
not
holes?
unheard of. It's not unheard of, but that's a darn good
It
score.
says here plays the finest round in golf. So
Well, at the time, I think they've probably broken that by now.
well, let me look this up here. Record finest round golf. Lowest rounds of golf. Okay. Let's see here. We have the lowest officially recorded round of golf is 55 by Rand Gibson. And was this the same guy? No, this is Homer Blancos. So,
What year was that?
2 birdies, 2 eagles, 1 hole in one on a par 71 on May 12, 2012 at River Oaks Golf Club. So that's 55.
So he was 16 under. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. And I guess, like, you can't really... Because this would have to be, course specific. Because you can't score... There is no such thing as the finest round in golf. Because you can play a really good game, on a hard course and play a bad game on an easy course.
Well, that's true, too. And there could be more strokes for that golf course from one to another. And you could shoot a 56 and be 17 under instead of 16 under. So which would be technically better. But as far as the finite, what's the lowest round of golf for 18 holes of any course? There you go.
Yeah.
So 55 is it. That's kind of weird.
Yep. 1965, the Auschwitz trials ended with 6 life sentences. Good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people, were involved in all that stuff. But at least got 6 of them. So, should have just executed them, honestly. Like, when especially of this magnitude, there's no way that they're going to be saved. So why are we spending money keeping them fed, keeping them alive? Giving power, flushing their toilets. Just kill these pieces of crap. 1966, Beatles pelted with rotten fruit and firecrackers during concert at Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. The Ku Klux Klan demonstrated outside the show and burned records. Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Like,
In 66.
yeah.
Jeez.
So even the Klan didn't like the Beatles. Yikes. We also have earthquake struck Varto region in eastern Turkey with a 6.8 magnitude, killing around 2,400. Turkey, population density and all that stuff. But 67, the Beatles, All You Need Is Love single went on number 1. Dun, 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 dun. All you need is love, love.
Yeah.
Good song.
You're not a Beatle.
No, I'm not. Because I'm better than a Beatle. I'm a United States citizen. I wasn't born in a, failing empire. 1969, film adaptation of Arlo Guthrie's song Alice's Restaurant.
Oh, that was
directed by Arthur Penn and starring Guthrie premiered.
Arlo Guthrie, yeah. The son of, what's his name, which was doesn't matter.
Well,
But Arlo Guthrie was great. That was such a funny movie. And that was off his song, Alice's Restaurant.
huh. 1973, Pirate World Music Radio in Holland closed down after 10 years. I'm surprised a pirate radio station lasted for a decade.
No kidding.
Like, usually they're gone, after...
They're going to hunt you down.
Yeah, well, especially today, but back then, I mean, like, being up for a couple of years, is understandable and not too
Yeah,
outlandish.
true,
But
true.
10 years?
10 years, a long time.
Wow. Yeah. 1974, RCA recorded Records released Pussycats, the 10th album by American singer Harry Nilsson of the U.S. Album was produced by John Lennon, and Nilsson worked through a series of vocal cord injury, through a serious vocal cord injury, which diminished his vaunted range. So
But produced by John Lennon. How about that?
Yeah. 1978, 422 people died in an arson fire at a movie theater in Iran. Wow. Yeah. I wonder if that guy ran away. That's a very bad joke. I'm sorry. But, man, dude. Who sets fire to movie theaters? What the hell? It has to be an Islamic extremist. Like, oh, no, these movie pictures are haram. We have to burn it down.
Could have been something, Could have been something like that.
1979, My Sharonna, Una Na Na. That's a different song. By the Knack, hit number 1, stays at top for 6 weeks. Why do I hear something? Oh.
What?
Oh, I heard whatever you were watching.
Huh? What? You didn't hear nothing.
1980, 1979 as well. Soviet cosmonauts Vladimir Lyakov and Valery Ryumin returned to Earth aboard Soyuz 34 after a record 175 days in space. And I put in a snarky remark, those Boeing astronauts will break that record. So did you hear about what happened involving Boeing and all that stuff?
No.
So, I don't really know much, but apparently there's some some capsule. It was made by Boeing and stuff that they used to send astronauts, NASA astronauts up into space.
Yeah.
It's now docked with the ISS or something, I think. But because of Boeing and their DEI practices, something went wrong, and now they cannot get it off. So now they're trapped in space until we can send up a rescue crew, and that won't be until next year. So they're trapped there for next couple of months. Thank you, Boeing, and your DEI practices. Isn't equality great? Isn't equity just amazing? Now we can all suffer and go back in technology and all. Now we can all die. Wonderful. And those poor astronauts, man, they're just screwed. I'm really not sure if they're gonna make it, because there's only a finite amount of oxygen, food. There's scrubbers and all that stuff, but without a supply.
I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know what the timetable is.
Yeah. But you heard about this, right, King?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not just making something up, but I don't know really much about what's going on, as I said prior. Anyway, what else do we have here? 1980, Kansas.
Kansas City Royals George Brett hitting streak ends at 30 games.
Huh.
Back to George Brett again.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a local guy. He was out of down in South Bay area. El Segundo.
1980 as well, Saudi Arabian Lockheed TriStar crashed on landing at Riyadh, causing 301 deaths. Yikes. 365 days later, 2 U.S. Navy F-14 jet fighters shoot down 2 Soviet Libyan Su-22s. Ooh. All right. I read that the other way around the night before. I thought they got shot down.
Oh.
So I was just like, wow. That's why that article went in there. 82, Ronaldo Nemeth of the U.S. set record for 110-meter hurdles, 12.93 seconds. Wow. We also have Soyuz T-7 was launched. Svetlana Savitskaya became the second woman in space. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
1983, LSU footballer Billy Cannon sentenced to 5 years for counterfeiting. I guess money.
That's not good. Yeah, well.
You're off the team
Could it
now.
be tickets?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think you get 5 years for that, but money you sure would.
Yeah. 1985, following the Rubicon speech 4 days prior, Archbishop Desmond Tutu snubbed P.W. Botha's invitation to attend a meeting to discuss the role and actions of the police and security forces in South Africa. So it sounds like this Archbishop was pro-apartheid. How'd you know?
Don't think
No, anti-apartheid. Never mind.
Yeah.
P.W. Botha, once again... Well, no. Hold on a second. P.W. Botha versus FWD Clerk. Here we go again. We're confusing these people. So, which one was this guy? So, he was the pro-apartheid guy. No, yeah. Yeah, because FW... I don't know. Hold on a second. What does this say here? Yeah, so this guy was... Well... Succeeded by FWD Clerk. So this is the pro-apartheid guy. This guy is the anti-apartheid guy. So that explains why he got snubbed. Because P.W. Botha wanted more harsher stuff on the native blacks and everything in South Africa. Apartheid. Anyway, 1987, Hungerford Massacre in England. Michael Ryan killed 16 people with an assault rifle and then committed self-deletion. So, yikes. So now whenever the Brits is like, oh, look at all the Americans and their mass shootings and all that stuff. Hungerford Massacre.
Yeah.
Suck that, you tea drinkers. 1988, Iran and Iraq began a ceasefire in their 8-year-old war at 11 p.m. EDT, whatever time zone that is.
Eastern Daylight Time.
Okay. But why would they operate off of Eastern in the Middle East?
Well,
I guess
it's
that's
the time it was here.
Okay.
They're usually written out of the East Coast, these articles.
Yeah. 1988 as well, New York Rangers signed ex-Canadian great Guy Lafleur out of retirement, so they brought him back. 89, the first crack in the Iron Curtain when Hungary opened its borders to Austria for a pan-European picnic for a few hours. Here we go, the beginning of the end. Good stuff. 89 as well, Tadeusz Mazowiecki elected first non-communist president of Poland. All right.
Lewinsky, right? Or whatever his name was?
Mazowiecki.
Oh, no, that's
You're
someone else.
thinking of Vladimir Lewinsky?
Let Lewinsky or something like that. Let Lewinsky, I think it was.
Lewinsky?
Lewinsky? I don't know.
Monica Lewinsky?
No.
No. King, you want to tell us what happened in 90?
1990, Dodger Jose Offerman hits home run in his last at bat.
In his last?
First.
Yeah, okay.
At bat.
So the first time he comes out literally swinging.
First time Major League batter, he hits a home run. Not bad.
Wow, not bad. Hell, man. What else do we got?
1991, date of 20, Hurricane Bob hits U.S.
So between now, the 19th, till the 20th, Hurricane Bob, hits the U.S. So, I mean, it's a multi-day event. That makes sense. It's a weather event.
Yeah.
But what a stupid name. Oh, better watch out. Hurricane Bob, is coming.
Second one of the season.
Yeah,
It's a B.
Yeah, nobody is fearful of Hurricane Bob. Nobody cares about
I thought
Hurricane Susan, Hurricane
That's
Nancy.
supposed to be women's names.
He usually is. But I guess, I got Bob Aran,
Could be.
I don't know, Bob Aran,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
That's a stretch, but it may be right.
But I mean, see, hurricanes, all the deaths and the damages and all that stuff can be reduced if we actually gave them more appropriate names. Are you gonna run away from Hurricane Susie or Hurricane Holy shit? This is gonna impale you with a tree stump. Which one are you more afraid of? Fuck Hurricane Susie. What else do we got here in 91?
1991, conservative members of the Communist Party of Soviet Union attempt to dispose Mikhail Gorbachev in a coup.
Oh, wow. So they were trying to get rid of him before he tore down the wall. Or maybe after or something. I'm not sure.
The conservatives would have been, more likely to tear down the wall, in favor of tearing down the wall. The conservatives would be.
Oh, so maybe he tore it down because this is after. When was the wall? When did the Berlin Wall fall? 89. So November 89. This is 2 years later. What year was it again? 92. So 3 years later, or 91.
So read it again. Maybe.
Well, let's see. Let me scroll up to it here. 1901. Conservative members of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union attempted to depose Mikhail Gorbachev in a coup d'état.
So nothing about the wall.
Well, this is after.
But they're trying to get rid of him. The conservative movement trying to get rid of him and put in more of probably an independent government.
Yeah.
Or a two-party government or whatever. I would imagine if you're conservatives.
They tried to kill good old country head. He
was so popular around the world, and they hated him in Russia.
Huh.
He was not popular at all. Hate is a strong word, but he was not popular at home, but very popular around the world.
1992, Sri Lanka made their highest cricket score ever, 8-547 versus Australia.
Another cricket?
Cricket. I have to torture you, man. Hey, don't worry. I know you give it back to me in crop dusting and farts and stupid boomer jokes all the time.
Crop dusting and farts?
Yeah. I mean, our family is very white, Oh. The dancing, is just awful. Although I dance more than you, so not well though. But yeah,
a great dancer. What are you talking about?
1993, George Tiller, abortion doctor, was shot in his arms by Rochelle Shannon. Yikes. Obviously, she was anti-abortion.
Yeah, apparently.
1993, I had no idea about this. Mattel and Fisher-Price toy companies merged.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Not that it was a big deal, but yeah, I do remember a merge with that.
I seem to remember, like, Mattel, had, their logo on their product, and Fisher-Price had their own logo and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
I never saw the two on one product together, like, so.
Well, they may have merged and left one name.
Yeah. But there's one company I'll never forget, Tonka.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
they give you die-cast metal toys,
I wonder
where...
if they're still around.
I don't know. Is Tonka still around? Like, I really doubt it. I really doubt it. I mean, like, all these companies, founded. Formerly, Mound Metal Craft from 46 to 55, then Tonka Toys 55 to 91, then just Tonka 91, till 91, headquarters, owner, subsidiaries. So this Tonka's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There you go.
I don't
Tonka
know.
Trucks.
I don't know who's buying any toys, for their kids in today's world, but
It's not electronics, not much.
well,
Well, I think they're buying plenty of Legos still.
yeah. Which, you know what Lego is? Like the actual word?
What?
We went over this the other day.
I know. I've heard it before. Not the other day, but
It's whatever that language, where
yeah.
whatever language they speak, it translates to play well. Lego.
Okay.
Play well.
Okay.
Something like that. Sir King, what happened in 95?
1995. After 5 days, Shannon Faulkner quits as first woman at the Citadel.
Oh, this job is too hard. It's icky. I
Yeah,
have to
can't
actually
handle it,
work? What's this? Like, cherry picking stuff. Yeah. Like, no. You can't take the heat?
Get out of the kitchen.
Oh, well, now you're sexist for saying that because you're a man and women belong in kitchen.
So you're trying to throw me under the bus, is what you're saying?
I'm just saying, no matter what, they're always going to bitch about something, so might as well just not even give them the time of day. Let them complain and cry in their own little corner and don't involve yourself.
Wow.
Screw them.
Wow.
So, well, hey, right here, quits 5 days after, she was the first woman. She couldn't stand it for a whole week. Well, I guess she stood it for a business week, but still, pathetic. What else do we got here in 95?
Mike Tyson returns to the ring after serving 3 years in prison and DQs Peter McNeely in 89 seconds.
Well, I mean, he just spent 3 years in prison.
Yeah.
He's going to come out a stronger fighter than he ever would have training alone. I mean, that's prison, man. Like, that's when literally fight, life to death. I mean, I wonder how many shanks he fought off, Like, 1996, the major South African political parties began their submission to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC. So this has got to be like anti-apartheid stuff and all that whatnot.
Yep.
Although apartheid really toppled in 92, 93. So this is like, vestiges and all that stuff being dealt with maybe.
I don't know.
97, the New York Yank third baseman Wade Boggs pitched a scoreless inning versus Anaheim.
Third baseman.
Ah. In 1998, South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission chairperson Archbishop Desmond Tutu released documents revealing an alleged plot by Western countries to assassinate United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld of Sweden. What is happening? Like, we have 5 countries involved in this thing. What's going on? South African, an archbishop, Western countries trying to kill a Secretary General of Sweden. What's happening? What is going on?
Secretary General Dag Nabbit.
99, in Belgrade, tens of thousands of Serbians rallied to demand the resignation of Slobodan Milosevic as president of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. He was not a good guy, right? Slobodan Milosevic.
I have no idea.
We've reported on this guy before. You'll probably recognize him. I know I will with this image. Let's see here. Well, let's see. Images. This guy. Oh, yeah, this guy here.
I do recognize him.
Yeah, I've seen that picture a lot. He was a Yugoslav and Serbian politician who was a president of Serbia from 1989 to 1997, and president of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia from 97 until his overthrow in 2000. So they did get rid of him. And speaking of 2000, what do we got in 2000? 2001.
2001, German Ferrari driver Michael Schumacher wins the first Hungarian Grand Prix in the Hungaroring to clinch his fourth F1 World Drivers' Championship and equal Alain Prost's record of 51 Grand Prix victories.
Nice. So his fourth, Drivers' Championship and 51 Grand Prix victories. That's a lot of victories.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, as with most other sports, like, I don't really, give, a tiddler's damn about driving, but hey, he won his fourth, thing, 51 Grand Prix victories. That needs recognition.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what you do or don't care about. You got to recognize
that's an
greatness.
Accomplishment.
So, and that's what the show is all about.
Yeah.
Like, 2002.
Uh-huh.
I like doing this.
2002, a Russian Mi-26 helicopter carrying troops is hit by a Chechen missile outside of Grozny, killing 108 soldiers.
118.
118 soldiers.
Yeah. Yikes, man. Helicopter got missiled. Jeez.
In 2004, U.S. gymnast Carly Patterson becomes the second U.S. woman to win the all-around gold medal and first to win a non-boycotted Olympic Games when she takes gold in Athens.
Hell yeah. So the first non-boycotted. That's good.
Yeah.
1 year later, 2005, a series of strong storms lashed southern Ontario, spawning several tornadoes, as well as creating extreme flash flood within the city of Toronto and its surrounding communities. In Toronto, it is also dubbed as the Toronto Supercell. Wow, so a series of... in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, tornadoes, flash flooding, like, what is... that's the apocalypse right there. We also have the first ever joint military exercise between Russia and China called Peace Mission 2005 began. That's ominous right there.
Yeah, peace mission.
Who's peace?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like an oppressed nation is a peaceful one.
Yeah.
So, 2007, 15.12 inches or 38.4 centimeters of rainfall at Huaka, Minnesota. State record, breaking previous mark after 35 years. So, over a foot again. It has to be, once again, during a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like...
It's got to be 24 hours, yes.
It's not like, okay, there's a foot of rain.
Right.
It doesn't say within a day.
Well,
but
the measurement's always going to be 24 hours.
It has to be the daily.
Yeah.
2008, Britain's Victoria Pendleton defeated Anna Meares in the women's cycling sprint final at the Beijing Olympics. Great Britain dominated the track, winning 7 of 10 gold medals. Nice. 2008 as well, there's 3 of them, so right back to you, King. Raining.
For 2007, 15.12 inches rainfall at Halkin, Minnesota, state record breaking previous mark after 35 years.
Yeah. We're up to 2008 reigning world champion.
Oh.
Yeah.
You said rain. So I was like, men's gymnastics. Wait. Reigning world champion Christine O'Hurguru, who wins the women's 400 meter at Beijing Olympics, Great Britain's 50th gold medal in Olympic track and field competition.
All right, the 50th gold medal.
Yeah.
Nice. Uno mas.
2008, the gymnastics program at Beijing Olympic concludes with the home team from China dominating the medals. Italy takes 7 out of 8 gold medals. Zhao Kai wins 3. Or Tally takes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tally takes 7 out of 8.
And I was wrong. I accidentally skipped over one here as well. 2008, Chris Hoy encapsulated British dominance of track cycling at the Beijing Olympics, defeating teammate Jason Kenny to win the sprint, adding to his Karen and team sprint gold medals. Okay, so Karen. What's it? Carrion. Carrion? What is... I guess that's some kind of medal. A carrion? Or something?
No.
It says adding to his carrion and team sprint gold medals.
That's a misspell of something. I'm not quite sure what it would be, but that's, yeah.
All right. 2009, a series of bombings in Baghdad, Iraq, killed 101 people and injured an additional 565 others. That's a little weird how they're both, mirror 101565. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And Baghdad, Iraq, not to be confused with Baghdad, Indonesia, or whatever. 2010, Operation Iraqi Freedom winds down as the last of the United States Brigade combat teams cross the border to Kuwait.
Yeah.
2012, plane crash in mountainous region of Todate, Sudan, killed 32, including several government officials and staff, en route to Eid al-Fitr festival, marking end Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Crash is blamed on bad weather condition. Wow, so some political people on their way to... Whenever political people die, things like this, it's always fishy. Like...
True.
2014, NASA... You know what NASA stands for, right?
What?
Never a straight answer. Satellites take photos showing that the eastern basin of the Aral Sea had for the first time completely dried up. And they actually have a photograph here, right here. So, actually, hold on, where is it? I'll give it, here we go. Look at that.
Ooh.
Wow. Just gone. And you can't tell, but I think this is the same one. There's hundreds of fishing boats and stuff just stranded out there in the dunes. Like, if you go and explore, there's entire communities and all that stuff, fishing villages, abandoned piers, docks, boats, just out there in what used to be water.
Yeah.
Wild. 2014 as well, we have the 24-hour ceasefire extension and renewal between Israel and Palestine was violated as Hamas fired rockets. The Israeli Air Force responded, killing 9 Gazians. Yeah, man. What do we have here in 2014? Or 2015. U.S. Sorry, 2015.
2015 U.S. Drug and U.S. and Food and Drug Administration approves female Viagra. Libido pill. Eddie.
Females aren't the ones that are supposed to get hard. Unless they're hyenas.
I don't know what a female... What does that translate to? I don't know what it means. I've never heard of it.
It says female Viagra libido.
I got
so
it.
libido, we know what libido is. I don't need to define it. But I guess it's of Viagra and it's for females. Like the Viagra is a company. And they're making a
female Viagra pill.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Now we do.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. But there we go. $2016.
Weird. A 6-way tie for the first place in the final of equestrian individual jumping competition at the Rio de Janeiro Olympics. Nick Skelton of Great Britain wins gold medal jump off. What?
6-way tie. That's amazing.
Dang.
Never heard.
Like,
they had
what are the parameters of this competition?
What do you say, King?
What are the parameters of this competition? There's 6
Well,
people.
they run the course. They jump over poles and stuff, and
oh,
yeah, it's a tie-breaking thing. Like,
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking of like base jumping or something.
Oh,
like that. Like,
no.
Well, would that make Peggy Hill a winner or a loser? I mean, she came down first, but another 2016 here. Actually, you have a few of them. Whoa.
2016, Chloe Esposito of Australia sets Olympic record overall score of 1,372 points to win the women's modern pentathlon in Rio de Janeiro. Elodie Colville of France, second with 1356 points. Octoya Nowaka of Poland, third with 1349.
All right. Olympic records. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
In 2016, City of San Francisco unveils a statue of singer Tony Bennett outside the Fairmount Hotel where he performed his signature song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
I left my heart in San Francisco. I know that's not how it goes at all, but I don't know the actual.
Yeah.
2016 as well. Kylie Newshall scored 3 goals at the as the U.S. women's water polo team routed Italy 12-5 to win the gold medal in the Rio de Janeiro and retain their Olympic title. No, in Rio de Janeiro, I guess, not the Rio.
Yeah.
But well, that's pretty cool.
12-5. That's a something.
Yeah. We also have Tajikistan's Dilshan Nazarov threw 78.68 meters to win the men's hammer throw gold medal at Rio de Janeiro Olympics. The first gold medal for Tajikistan Olympic history. All right. And then Vivian Cheruiyot of Kenya went on one better than her London silver medal when she won the women's 500 meter at the Rio de Janeiro Olympics. Ran Olympic record time of 14 minutes 26.17 seconds. So she won the silver the year prior, and then now she won the gold.
Yeah,
awesome.
4 years prior, yeah.
The last time, 4
Yeah.
years prior. So yeah. 2018, Limerick wins All Ireland Hurling Championship for first time in 45 years with a 3-16, 2-18 win over defending champions Galway at Croke Park, Dublin. That has to be cricket. Kind of sounds like that's a scoring.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
It's the only thing I can come up with is cricket.
Yeah. 2018 as well, a monsoon rain finally ceased in Kerala State, India, with flooding taking 350 lives, putting 200,000 people in relief camps.
Yeesh.
Yikes. And we have 3 more 2018s just for you, good Sir King.
23?
2018, Novak Djokovic.
Oh.
Novak Djokovic beats Roger Federer 6-4, 6-4 in the finals of the Cincinnati Masters to become the first player to win all 9 Masters 1000 tennis tournaments since the series started in 1990.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Everybody should just give it up.
Dominant.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah, another 2018, 2 more earthquakes hit Lombok in Indonesia, killing 14 2 weeks after previous earthquakes.
Dang. Oh, and here we go.
Oh, here we go, yeah. Well, Weinstein accuser Argento is alleged to have sexually assaulted a 17-year-old in an article by the New York Times.
Oh, how the turntables.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the accuser of
Oh.
Weinstein herself, it was found to have been doing some less than reputable things. I mean, as the saying goes, you point a finger. Hold on a second. You point a finger, you got 3 more pointing back at you. You know, that's why Disney does this. Politicians do this. They always have their fingers pointing back at them. But that's why I always point. All of my fingers are pointing at you. Nothing's pointing back at me. Screw you. Screw you. 2019, Evelyn Hernandez was cleared of killing her newborn baby in landmark case in a retrial in El Salvador. Yeesh. Ugh.
Ugh.
Man, can you imagine? Like, it's hard enough, like, actually having done it, because that's heartless to begin with. But then to be accused of that and having not done it,
Yeah.
like that's, I would argue, like, that's more heartbreaking, because it's just like, how can you even think I can be capable of such a?
Well, first off, you're
like,
crushed from the loss.
Yes.
Right out of the chute.
Oh,
Then you're accused of doing it.
Oh, yeah. 2019 as well, Sudanese ex-president Omar al-Bashir admitted he has received $90 million from Saudi Arabian royals at the start of his corruption trial in Khartoum. And we were talking about, Saudi Arabia and all that stuff earlier today during coffee time, like how they're a danger to the world and all that stuff.
Nah.
They are. Oh, working with China and Russia to make their own petrodollar, like backed by gold. I mean, that is the right thing to do, But
They're a country that puts the country first. That's what a country should do.
They don't put all the people first, though. So, I mean, remember they gave citizenship rights to a robot,
Okay.
while the women still don't have basic human rights. I mean, 2020, Apple became the first U.S. company to have valued at $2 trillion just 2 years after it had reached $1 trillion valuation.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah, so the Apple fanboys just gobble up all the crap. 2020 as well, golfing dinner teamed golf carts, golf cadets, golf gates, appearing to flout COVID-19 restrictions attended by Irish political figures, prompted 2 politicians to later resign. So yeah, golf gates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so golfing dinner termed golf gated, appearing to flout. So yeah, everything
They
has a
flouted
gate.
it. In other words, they ignored the
Yeah.
mandates and had the dinner anyways.
Yeah. I'm going to take these other 2020s, and then there's 4 more articles, I believe, and that's all you, King. So, 2020, we have largest floods in 70 years wet the toes of giant 71-meter Leshan Buddha carved by a river just outside Chengdu, China, with 100,000 people evacuated. So it got all the way up to the Buddha. And 2020, U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy said he will suspend controversial plan to cut costs until after the election. That's weird. So why don't you cut costs now? Why do you have to wait till after the election?
I don't know. I don't know the premise of it.
I don't know either. Anyway, we have 3 22s and a 123.
30-hour siege begins on Hayat Mountain, Mogadishu, and Shabab militants leaving 21 dead and 117 injured.
A Hyatt hotel, a Hyatt Regency and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So a Hyatt hotel in Mogadishu. Wow.
Yep.
That's
In 2022, European drought uncovers river hunger stones that once warned of famine, including Descent Stone, earliest inscription 1417 of Elbe River with carving, "If you see me, then weep."
So basically, there were carvings in stones that if it was above the water, it was a sign of knowing that a drought's coming.
Right.
And then this decent stone, "If you see me, then weep." Weep because you're going to die, because the water level has gotten so low that now you can see this. You will die. There will be a major drought. That's scary.
Very.
But I mean, the interesting ways people figured out, how to predict weather, what coming seasons, you can obviously tell if a river is dry, but they actually put down markers.
Yeah.
That's really cool, Dos más. Almost there.
2022, Mexico's former Attorney General Jesus Mercado Karam arrested in connection with the disappearance of 43 students in 2014, one of the country's worst human rights tragedies.
So a former attorney general connected with 43 students disappearing. Just wow.
Corruption.
Oof.
Big time.
Yeah, well, don't even get me started on the current individual who's trying to run for president of Mexico has a trail of almost 40 deaths in her wake. Killing off all of her political opponents.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's wild.
Yeah. One more.
One there. 2023 MLB Philadelphia Phillies shortstop Tree Turner hits 2 solo home runs in the same inning, and 12-3 win over Nationals in Washington.
Wow.
Okay.
2 home runs
Nice.
in the same inning.
Yeah.
That's awesome. and 12 to 3. You know, and that's, you know, awesome. And now concludes the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, from history sources, collected links to all things Omni Coalition, and more. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows, from history to news, movie reactions and reviews, and also Omni Kitchen coming up as soon as it gets a little cooler. Check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I'm A.O. Xander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And for a while we had the Con Air, you know, as part of the show. And of course, you viewer are you. Thank you once again so much for watching. Until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! And